to get your knees over it. So if you feel her rear flippers, she's quite cold. Really feel and see those hips sticking out there. She's really thin. 14 kilos. She definitely needs to come in.
Cornwall has 400 miles of coastline. From windswept cliffs to stunning beaches, it is unique within the British Isles. The sea is the lifeblood of the region. It is the perfect place for grey seals to thrive. Cornwall's rich Atlantic seas and sheltered coves support the life cycle of the seals that rely on them. They don't occur any further south than here, so this is an incredibly important place for this species. Even though grey seals are common on the Cornish coast, globally they are as rare as the African elephant. There are numerous threats to their survival, both from people and from nature. Grey seal pups are especially vulnerable during the breeding season, and many have to be rescued.
Every season we rescue sort of anywhere between sort of 40 and 60 seal pups. There's all sorts of reasons why seals do need our help. Pups that have been injured during storms or bites from other seals or even dogs. And infections and pollution problems too. Sometimes it's very young pups that have been separated from their mum too soon and aren't yet ready to look after themselves.
When Bat was found, she was extremely underweight. She had a painful eye infection and she was exhausted. She was so tired from hunger and dehydration that she barely even struggled when the marine medics began to examine her. It is unlikely that Bat would have survived the next few hours, and human intervention would be her only hope. After being carried off the beach, Bat was taken to the Cornish Seal Sanctuary, where she would be tended to by the animal care team. She spent her first few weeks in the hospital at the sanctuary. Here, she received much needed treatment for the infections in her eyes. Being so young, she was unable to feed herself, so the staff at the Seal Sanctuary had to feed her fish. Eventually, she learnt how to eat on her own. When Bat was strong enough, she was moved into the nursery pools with the other rescued seal pups.
The idea of bringing them down here to the nursery pools is so that they can learn how to compete with one another in the water.
They can learn to interact with other seals for the first time properly, swim and dive, learn to feed in the water as well. So learning lots of new skills that will help them through the rehabilitation process.
So Bat's rehabilitation process did come along quite quickly. She was very keen to eat all of the fish, so we didn't have much of a struggle to get her medication in her. We are waiting for her to get to release weight at the moment. So once she gets to that weight, we will be able to move her into the rehab pool and then she'll be released back out into the wild.
Before any pup leaves the sanctuary, their rear flipper is tagged with a unique number so they can be monitored in the wild. Once Bat is ready to be released, she'll be loaded onto a trailer with the other seal pups that have reached the target weight. Normally, around 2 to 6 pups will be released at a time, so that they have some company when they go back into the wild. When they arrive at the beach, the tailgate is lowered and the seals are free to make their way back to the ocean.
Seeing the seals being released is probably one of the best parts of this whole process, just to see them having battled through all of their problems and got to that stage where they can go back out and take care of themselves again.
When we go on releases, it's generally quite a happy moment to see them be released back out into the sea. Everyone feels like the rehab work that we've gone through, all of the early starts and the late finishes, is worth it.
Soon, it will be Bat's turn to join the other pups back in the wild. For now, she's continuing to live with the seals at the sanctuary. During this series, we have seen many things that threaten the lives of grey seals on the Cornish coast. These are not just threats here, but are on a global scale. There are many things we can do to help. Prevent disturbance by keeping away from seals on beaches. After a storm, keep an eye out for injured seals whilst out and about. Resist the temptation to feed seals, especially in harbours. Pick up litter and washed up fishing gear from the coastline. And support those trying to help seals in Cornwall. We can all help these wonderful and amazing creatures so that everyone can enjoy seeing them around the coast.